Judge, I got a few thoughts here. So, a couple things. I've heard from a lot of my constituents in my area, and the resounding theme is they want the lowest tax rate possible. One of the main complaints I get regarding taxation is that most people are very upset with their overall valuations, and that it, at the end of the day, tends to force seniors out of their homes at some point, theoretically. I made it pretty clear that my base position is I think property taxes should be zero. I think they're immoral at their core. And realistically, at the end of the day, if the state didn't have property taxes, we would have no need for a PVA. Values would be driven by the market. Seniors and property owners that just want to keep their property and live in it forever are protected. And that the fact that we have property taxes in some way artificially inflates the home values in the area, and it's a disservice to our residents in that sense. I think that when we look at the difference between the one rate and the other, we can always spend money. We will always find a way to spend all of the money that we bring in, and the wish list is a mile long on what we'd love to spend any additional revenue that we have on. But at the end of the day, I would have loved to have seen when this proposal came in. By the way, we've already discussed the 2025 budget, right? We've already discussed the budget. We've already approved the budget. We already know what we're going to spend the money on, and it's based on the compensating rate. So the compensating rate already covers us for our budget. We're covered. Everything we wanted to do in 2025 is good to go already. And talking to Rob before the meeting, we already have realistically, an expectation of 8 to 9 or even upwards of $12 million more in our reserves than we're going to use, more than our 25% target. Even if we use a couple million in our reserves for a variety of reasons, which I guess we've historically done, we're still going to have 8 to 9 million sitting there. So I would have liked to have seen, if we thought that we were going to try to get a little bit more, go with this 4% increase over gross from last year, that we look at reducing our spending in other areas. But I went back through a brief look, and there's only two funds that we reduced our spending in: the clerk storage of $32,000 and the golf course fund of $540,000 ish. So if we go back to our target being zero, and let's reduce spending in areas first before we try to, and I'm gonna use the word increase taxes, but I got it. We're decreasing no matter what. I understand that concept. But I would have liked to have seen, look, we have already tried to figure our target is zero, and we've already tried to figure out all these places that we can reduce our spending so that we can reduce our tax rate to that closest to zero possible, and we still need a little bit more. That's a different story than, hey, let's just figure out a way to take another $600,000 out. I think that we should go with the lowest possible rate all the time, period, for our citizens. And in this case, it doesn't hurt our budget at all. We are 100% funded, plus we got the 25% plus reserves. So even though we have a wish list a mile long and we can always find a way to spend the money, let's look at how we reduce spending in other areas first, and let's deliver for the citizens the lowest possible tax rate. So that, I said it last meeting, my position is we should go with a compensating rate. In fact, if we could do it even lower than that, I'd love to do that. Just to be clear, I'm not arguing for eliminating the property tax completely today. I don't want to get distracted by that conversation. Right.
Yeah.
Today, I'm saying that if you gave us, we're talking about an extra $607,000, but let's just say the number was 10 million, whatever that number is. If you gave us the number, I'm sure 100% we will find something to spend that money on, and it'll be great. Infrastructure, roads, water, whatever. We will always find something to spend that money on, and we can come up with a giant list of things we would like to fund with this $607,000. But I'm saying that we should reduce our spending in other areas, which we didn't do. Now, there are some line items, a lot of line items were reduced, but by fund, only 2 funds were reduced from year over year, 24 to 2025. We should look at reducing fund spending first, and once we've done that to the max, then we can say we still need more money for infrastructure. Then we can have the discussion about whether or not we reduce as much as we can or not.
Any other comment before we have a motion?
Yeah, the only other comment I'd make, Judge, is that, I would be the first to admit that we have needs when it comes to roads and infrastructure. It's been something that part of the reason I even ran for office. But my opposition to this one is not about opposition to infrastructure funding. It is opposition to how we got here theoretically. And I think there's other ways to fund that. So that's just a comment on the record, I guess.
Okay, thank you. With that, I think we're ready. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to, I'll second.
All right. Moved by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Flagg. Okay, and that motion is to adopt the 9.2 with the commitment of the set aside of $607,558. I just want to make sure we were clear on the motion. And that is what we're saying. All right, very good. Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes 3-1. The tax rate is set